Good win. Clay Battelle's they're big. But they're a good team. From when we played them in January till now, they've improved a lot. And so, hats off to them for what they've done. Great team. And so, tonight, offensively in the first half, especially first quarter, we struggled just a little bit. And not necessarily turnovers or decisions, just hitting shots. We just weren't putting the ball where it needed to be. And so, thankfully, we settled in there a little bit and we're able to do much better in the second quarter, but especially in the third and the fourth there, we were able to really settle in and play. So, but the good thing is, if they continue to play defense like that, offense can be off a little bit, and you'll still be okay. So,
questions?
Coach, you guys obviously hang your hat on defense. And that was kind of what propelled you when you were going through that stretch. I think there was about an 8-minute span between the end of the first and beginning of the second quarter where you held them scoreless. Can you just talk about how that kind of anchored you guys so you got to go in?
Yeah, and what's great is that's what these guys buy into. They love the defensive end, and they just get after it, like literally get after it. And we were overplaying on a few things that we shouldn't have been, and maybe I expect perfection. I don't know what it is, but I felt like we were almost going. Let's put it this way: we were going fast enough on defense, but too fast on the offensive end, if that makes sense. And so once we settled into the offensive side, it almost picked your defense up even more because then you feel like you can really get after it because, we feel like we can, most nights we can hold teams to a low score. And if that's the case, then your offense can be off a little bit and still be okay. But, defensively, that's our pride. And so each one of them, they just get after it. It's awesome to watch as a coach and know that they're going to buy into it.
Speaking to that pride, you guys forced 30 turnovers. What did you guys see from them that you guys were able to exploit?
I heard somebody say it was 30 turnovers, but I hadn't looked at the stat sheet yet. That's nice. 30 turnovers is a lot. And I told them, here, I'll be the critical coach real quick. I think we only had 33 points off that. And I say only because a lot of them were live ball turnovers. And so that's the part we weren't finishing the way we felt like we needed to. But 30 turnovers, I'll take that any night. Any night you want to give me that from the opposing team, we'll take it.
Josh, when you're not hitting shots like that, do you on defense, can I say this is where I'm going to have to make my mark this evening because the shot's not falling?
Oh, yeah, of course. Defense turns into offense. It's what I've always been preaching since I was little. So I just play my hardest on defense, and then offense will come.
Owen, when everyone else was kind of struggling on offense, you gave them a little bit of life, and he said that they wanted to stop Josh and Colin and Eli and help off of you. So what did you see that kind of got you going?
They were all on them, and I just went to the right spots. I knew they were going to be targeting the big three, I guess you would call it. So I came in, hit a couple shots, and that's about all.
Eli, are there times where you feel like you have to take more initiative and look to score instead of distributing, or is it just kind of like a feel of the game type thing?
More of a feel of the game. If somebody's not hitting, then maybe if we need a bucket, I might force one. But other than that, I just play the game and give it. Defense gives me what I need. So.
Eli, you looked like you were locked in at the start of the third quarter. What went through your mind at halftime? What was the advice to you at halftime?
Well, me personally, a little frustrated. I didn't feel like we were playing the best. Didn't hit shots. We still were up a decent amount, but just frustrated a little bit. But had to come back and, level-headed and just get the job done.
I'll answer a little bit of that for him. When you get 2 fouls in the first quarter, a lot of people will pull the players. We got a lot of trust in him not to pick up that third foul. A lot of our players we do, actually. We've done that throughout the season. And so in the second quarter, he had to back off just a little bit. He's still making plays, still getting deflections and things like that. But when you get 2 fouls and when you play aggressive defense, you've got to back off just a little bit. And I felt in the third quarter he was able to let loose again because, 2 fouls in the third quarter, you're still okay. And when you let loose and play, then things roll a little easier.
Coach, Eli led the team in points, assists, and second in blocks. Do you think that, obviously you want him to be doing well, but do you think, you want someone else to be able to kind of lead the team and, not have it all on Eli's shoulders?
I don't know. I think he just got lucky tonight, but that was a joke. But I don't know. That's you could look at that two ways. You could look at it as in you would like to see some other people leading one of the categories, or you could look at it as in you had a good night. So the rest, all these guys buy into what they do. Like Josh, I dare you to find a better on-ball defender. Like I dare you. And so each one of our players buys into what the role is. And sometimes, for instance, you look down at Josh's stats. Sometimes the stats, quote unquote, big stats aren't there. But when he's holding one of the best offensive players on the other team to 7, 8, 9 points every night, pretty important player, And so we don't look at stats a whole lot, actually. I'm sure they do when they're at home or whatever it is. But when it comes to our team, the importance is on their role, and when they succeed in that role, that's what it's about.
Matt, 10 steals for Colin Box night. That's a record for single A. Again, he didn't shoot the ball well. It's just guys finding ways that they can make a contribution when they're maybe not shooting well. What do you think led to that?
10 steals is impressive. And Colin did it on a little bit of a limp leg there. He rolled it early in the first quarter and was able to fight through it. But a lot of those steals, and I'm not taking discredit from Colin. I'm not taking Eli had 6, and all these people had steals. I don't discredit that, but I kind of go back to last year with Shad. Shad always would have a lot of nights where he could lead the team in steals, but most of the time it wasn't because of Shad. Most of the time it's because of the trap, or it was because of the pressure that we were given. And it's the same thing this year. Colin has 10 steals, Eli has 6, but a lot of times that's off the pressure that the other players were given to that individual. And then each player is able to benefit off that. And Colin reads the game well, and that's where the 10 steals come from. Is let's say Eli and Josh are on the trap. There's very little space for anybody to see anything, and with that, Colin reads what that player is going to do and is able to create that steal. So,
Matt, you played a team today that prides themselves a little bit on physicality, has a lot of height.
Oh, and they are.
And you're going to see a very similar style tomorrow. Yeah. So is there any, advantage to seeing that somewhat similar style, less, a day before? And what do you anticipate from, a Tucker team that you guys have familiarity with?
Yeah, well, I expect Tucker, first of all, to come in fired up, ready to play. It's a state championship game. I don't think they're going to look at the January game and think, I think we'll just lay down tonight. I think it's going to be a great game. Tucker brings a lot of physicality. But, I tell people we may not be as big as some teams in certain positions, but we're just as physical as any team we play. Now, most of the time our physicality is outside the three-point line, and other teams, want to bang inside. And so our goal is to create physicality from whether it's full court, half court, but you create it out, and that way sometimes they can't use the physicality inside.
Defensively, the second quarter has been a strong quarter for you guys all year long. Going back to the Bluefield game at home, and obviously your quarterfinal game, and again tonight you held them to three-base shooting and scoreless for the first 4 minutes. Is there some sort of process you guys go through where you're able to pick things up in the first quarter, and that's what kind of keys the shutdown in the second quarter?
I think it all comes back to the coaching. We're just the best. So no, I think a lot of it has to do with the players. Actually, it's not necessarily the coaching, because as coaches, lots of times in these runs we haven't switched anything. But I think the players are picking up on what the other team can do and can't do, and they're good at exploiting that without the coach telling them that, which is pretty cool. As a coach, it does make us look good, but most of it is credit to them more than us.
Can you guys, players, expound on that a little bit? Why that second quarter's been so tough defensively, off of what Matt said?
Again, we just feel what they're good at and what they're not good at. They really don't tell us anything different. I guess we're just maybe a little bit more warmed up too. I mean, get that first quarter through, and second quarter, our legs are under us, and we're ready to roll.
I think we just figured out strengths and weaknesses of the other players really fast, and then like Eli said, we had the feel for it. And we just go from there.
Okay. I think we just wake up. Like first quarter, nothing goes. It seems like all year long. But I think we just wake up and then we just do what we need to do.
I wish it wasn't that way. Wish we could get a good first quarter, but I mean, we'll take it, I guess.
Eli, you rolled with the Lucas today. Is there any sort of inspiration you get from him as a player, similar styles?
I don't know. I blew out of my basketball shoes right before state, so had to come and get these, and they're comfortable, look good, so
Just make sure you don't complain to the officials as much.
yeah.
Any further questions? Coach, guys, thank y'all very much.